Hello everyone, welcome to Study IQIS English channel. My name is Shubham Sagar. So there is a question in front of all of you. You have to answer this question by the end of this particular session. And why we are talking about this, we'll discuss this. Should India legalize same-sex marriage? See, the first thing which may come in your mind is that we have already talked about, or you may have heard about decriminalization of homosexuality, that it is no longer a crime if you are involved in consensual homosexual activity. Section 377 of IPC and earlier erstwhile IPC and Navteej Johar case. So you may feel like, sir, why we are discussing this when we have already decriminalized homosexuality? Decriminalization versus legalization, that also we will talk about. This is a sensitive issue for you people as well as for me. And why we are talking about this? Because this Ruth Vanitha ma'am, she has wrote in today's Indian Express. What she has wrote, we'll talk about it. Where she has wrote it, January 28, 2025, Indian Express page number 13. And this is the article which we are talking about here, right? So what is she talking about? Whether decriminalization is equal to legalization or not, all these things we have to discuss here. So ma'am is saying that why this particular same-sex marriage is in news, because Thailand has legalized it, and Thailand is not the only Asian country which has legalized same-sex marriage. Also, one thing which you people can do is you can post in the comment section which is the first country in the world which has legalized same-sex marriage. Also, we'll talk about decriminalization versus legalization. If you know something about it, you can post it in the comment section as well. So what is ma'am talking about? Ma'am is saying that, what is it? First of all, ma'am is not so critical about India. They are saying that there are certain countries, or she is saying that rather, that there are certain countries in the world where they will cut your legs, cut your arms if you are involved in same-sex marriage. And then there are certain Brahmanic religions, which are very, very critical about same-sex relationship, same-sex marriage. You know, hi Hridyansh. And unlike Hinduism, where we are not very, critical about same-sex marriage, there are certain books like Kam Sutra. They talk about same-sex marriage. In Mahabharata, we have a character, or we have, a personality, Sikhandi. So we have talked about it. Hindu scriptures has talked about same-sex marriage, same-sex relationship. But Abrahamic religion, you can talk about and you can name some of the Abrahamic religion which you know, they are very, very critical about it. So ma'am is saying that India is neither the best nor the worst Asian country for same-sex couples, while many Asian countries criminalize or execute people for same-sex relation. Yes, that do happen. India does not recognize same-sex marriage legally. Again, you may feel like, sir, we have decriminalized homosexuality. So how does it matter? It matters. Let's say I have legalized same-sex marriage. Then in that scenario, whoever is husband or wife in that relationship, they will get spousal support. But if you have not legalized same-sex marriage, in that case, if you are involved in same-sex, intercourse and everything, that is fine, because that has been decriminalized. But you won't get spousal support. Let's say one of the spouse dies. Who will do the funeral, etc.? That is also not explicitly defined. So if the same-sex marriage is legalized, there are so many things or so many protection which these people will get. Plus, we'll talk about some more things which this article is saying. Very fascinating article. And then you can give your view. Do you support legalization of same-sex marriage or not? And don't feel anything about it, because we are free to voice our opinion. We can give assent to a certain thing, or we can dissent away from a particular aspect. So whatever is your view, you can post it in the comment section. Now, again, there is a very fascinating thing here in this article. Supreme Court refused to legalize same-sex marriage in 2023. Supreme Court says that these things happen in our country, that we accept. And these things has been going on in our country, that we also accept. These things has been written in some Hindu texts, that we also accept. But we will not legalize it. Why? Because they said we are judiciary. When you read about polity, you read about legislature, executive and judiciary. Legislature will make law, executive will implement law, judiciary will check the constitutionality of law. So it's not the work of judiciary to make laws. What Supreme Court is saying? That let Parliament decide whether they want to legalize same-sex marriage or not. We are not here to make laws, right? Here also one point comes. If you know something about it, you can post it in the comment section. Do you understand the difference between judicial review, judicial activism and judicial overreach? What is the difference between them? If you know about it, you can post it in the comment section. Let's come back to the article. So article is talking about Thailand. Thailand in 2024, they legalized same-sex marriage. They are not the only country. Taiwan has done something about it. Nepal is doing something about it. Although we will see how Nepal is very similar to India. So again, it is the largest Asian country to legalize same-sex marriage. Since it is in news, they can ask you in some exam which is the largest Asian country which has legalized same-sex marriage, which is the first country in the world which legalized same-sex marriage. If you know it, post it in the comment section. Then what are the other countries? Taiwan was the first Asian country which legalized same-sex marriage, but the largest is Thailand. Thailand is awesome. Again, Nepal. Nepal began temporary registration because their Supreme Court, they talked about it that you have to do the registration of same-sex marriage. So maybe it was a reluctant agreement, or maybe Nepal started doing it because their Supreme Court asked them to. However, these marriages lack full legal rights equivalent to heterosexual marriages. Like when you have heterosexual marriages in India, since they are legalized, you will get spousal support, so many other things will happen because that is legal in nature. But here, although homosexuality is decriminalized, same-sex marriage are not legal. So India's same-sex marriage by Hindu rights. Same-sex couples in India have been marrying from like whatever we have, somewhat, non-official records. It is said that from at least 1987, these things are going on according to ma'am. I am not saying it. Don't kill me in the comment section. So many early marriages involved, again, they are saying that there were certain people, there were certain low-income women who were doing all these things. Again, this is a generalization, what we have observed up until now. What else is this article talking about? Cultural and historical evidence. Same-sex union have existed throughout Indian history. And we have talked about Kama Sutra. We have talked about Sikhandi of Mahabharata. So Supreme Court acknowledged this in its judgment, but deferred legalization to Parliament. Again, we have discussed this, that legislature, executive and judiciary. Legislature will make law, executive will, implement law, and judiciary will check constitutionality of law. It's not the work of Supreme Court to make law on same-sex marriage. And in simple terms, what Supreme Court was saying that in such a huge country like India, these things happen. And it's my personal choice. So it's up to Parliament now whether they want to legalize it or not, or whether they want to provide protection to people or not. Because in big countries, these things happen, according to Shah Rukh Khan. So legal and social discrimination in India. Now, this is a very, very important, these are very important facts which you can use. They can ask you this question in pre or mains, anywhere. What are the issues? If, let's say, same-sex marriage is not legalized, what are the issues here? Same-sex couple in India lack basic right. We have discussed this. Access to spousal benefits. So let's say I marry a guy. See, the point is I am a guy who has exceeded 30 years of age. I'm still not married and I'm making, this video. I don't know what my parents are thinking, but still let's take an example. So let's say I marry a guy and same-sex marriage happens. In that scenario, if I die or or we get divorced or whatever, we will not get spousal benefits. Currently wife gets some maintenance and all those fees. In heterosexual marriages, all these things will not happen here. Funeral decision. If one of us dies, who will do the funeral rites? That is also not here. Inheritance without will. So many things you can see. You are same-sex couple, but if you are not legalized, that thing is not legalized, what issues they are facing. Then second part, Indians married to same-sex partners abroad, outside India. What happens in abroad, let's say, in the foreign country that is legalized. So they are married in foreign country, but they are single in India. Foreign spouses of Indian same-sex partners, if they are coming to India, they will be given a tourist visa. But if they would have been a heterosexual, or if they would have been involved in a heterosexual relationship, in that situation, they would have got a OCI card, Overseas Citizen of India. So there is OCI, there is PIO, Overseas Citizen of India, Persons of Indian Origin, and NRI. So if you know the difference between OCI, PIO and NRI, you can again post it in the comment section. So that all these points which we have seen in the previous slide, it begs a question. Are we discriminating people on, same-sex marriage, who are doing same-sex marriage or involved in same-sex marriage? Is this a kind of discrimination? Should it be done? Should we legalize it? Again, whatever is your perspective, post it in the comment section. So religious perspectives on homosexuality. See, we have discussed this. Hinduism and Buddhism, they are not treating it as a serious crime. They're not even like promoting it, that do it. No. But it's like a crime in Abrahamic religions. Judaism, you talk about Islam, you talk about Christianity. There it is considered a sin, like whatever I have heard and whatever I have read. Many Hindu texts acknowledge and celebrate same-sex love. Kama Sutra, Sikhandi of Mahabharata, these are two examples I'm giving. If you have more examples, you can post it in the comment section. But again, it's not like Hinduism is celebrating it. None of the religion is celebrating it explicitly, but we are not as harsh. Hinduism and Buddhism, they are not as harsh as, let's say, Christianity, Islam or Judaism. Again, the people of Abrahamic religion, please don't condemn me or, kill me in the comment section. I'm not saying it. Ma'am who has written this article, she is saying this. So now let's talk about a very interesting question, very important question from every exam perspective. Decriminalization versus legalization. So we know this 2018 judgment, Navtesh Singh Johar versus Union of India. It has decriminalized homosexuality. So if you are involved in consensual, this is a very key word here, same-sex relationship, it's fine. No, it's not a criminal offense anymore after 2018. But let's say you convert this same-sex relationship into marriage, same-sex marriage. Then in that scenario, again, it's not a criminal offense, but it's not legal either. You won't get legal protection which heterosexual guys or relationship or marriages get. We have discussed those spousal benefits and all those things. What will happen if you marry a foreigner? Maybe you are married abroad but single in India. All these things. One will get a, OCI card. You will just get a tourist visa. So all these things are different. I hope you understood the difference between decriminalization versus legalization. It's no longer a criminal activity if you're involved in same-sexual relationship or something. But it's not even legal either, same-sex marriage. Singapore has done the same thing which India has done. They have decriminalized homosexuality, but they have not legalized same-sex marriage. Marriage diversity in India. So now this is a very interesting point which ma'am is raising, that we have allowed for, good afternoon Sakshi. So the ma'am is asking one thing, that we are like uniform civil code we are talking about right now, but generally we have allowed freedom, in respective religion. Like we have allowed polygamy in Islam. So why we are not allowing same-sex marriages then? Why we are not legalizing it? When we have allowed polygamy in Islam, by that logic, if we are giving the freedom to people of different, religious demarcations, why we are not allowing same-sex marriage? Why we are not legalizing same-sex marriage? Why we are not providing social protection to those vulnerable people? So that is one question, so which we have to answer. So what's your view regarding this particular article? Do you support same-sex marriage? Do you support legalization of same-sex marriage? Hope you understood the difference between decriminalization and legalization. Whatever is your view on this particular article, whether you're supporting same-sex marriage or not supporting same-sex marriage, do you think it will, disturb the social fabric, or do you think it's a personal choice? Whatever is your view regarding it, you can post it in the comment section. Fine. So that's it for this particular article, and you can go and have a look at this particular article. Very fascinating article it is, where you have to go and have a look at it. So this ma'am has written Ruth Vanita, and that article is on Indian Express page number 13, January 28, 2020.